So we have a couple of more questions, and then we can take our final question from either the chat or Discord. But before we get to those questions, Ilya Rose, which I mentioned earlier, her comment says, "Oh my gosh, my question not only was answered, but became the title. I'm fine, I'm calm." And then she says, "Also, I agree. I can't stand when people ship them, talking about Link and Zelda, except for Skyward Sword." So I'm glad you were happy that your question was answered. But our next question comes from Scuggler Thrash, who asks, "What game developer would you like to see make a Zelda game?" Mine would be Square Enix.
Oh, I was about to say that too, Square Enix.
Yes,
yeah.
If the team behind the Final Fantasy 15 game or the Final Fantasy 7 remake, or even like the Kingdom Hearts people, like if any of them made their own Zelda game and that art style, whether it is the toony Kingdom Hearts art style or like the really detailed, almost realistic looking anime style of the newer Final Fantasy games, but for Zelda, that would be awesome.
It'd be so crazy. Yeah. It'd be so crazy to see like Link and Zelda, because I mean, like Twilight is kind of, I guess, the most realistic looking. It'd be crazy to see them in a light that is like the graphics of like Final Fantasy 15 or something. I don't know if I'd be like able to process it as a human being.
It would be so good.
It would. It'd be so weird because for the most part, the whole series is more stylized and more animated and a little bit more cutesy and stuff like that. So to have like a game that's like so epically real by Square Enix would be intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What about you?
I'm gonna go in a different direction. Like, there's a couple good candidates. One is, Capcom did a really good job with like Minish Cap and the Oracle games and Four Swords games. So I mean, like, I actually think of all those, I like Four Swords Adventures. I really like how that game looks. Like, it's a very visually distinct game. That people don't talk about the visuals of that game very much. It's sort of this fusion between what would be Minish Cap and A Link to the Past's elements, but like some really detailed lighting and stuff. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it actually makes use of the power of the GameCube instead of...
Yes. Yeah. But, since they've already done some Zelda games, people would know what to expect. So if we're going in a wild, different direction, I'd like to see if Retro could take it on, because they've proven like pretty diverse in how they can handle franchises. Like, you take a look at what they did with Metroid. They took a franchise that hadn't had a game in 8 years, brought it into 3D from 2D, from third to first person, and yet like made all these changes and were somehow still very true to the series with amazing attention to detail. And then they did the same thing with Donkey Kong, and I'm like, man, these guys are invincible. What could they do next, right? So maybe it's just because they've made some of my favorite games ever, and I'm just like super, like, I just, I look at them and I think light shines, like the sun shines out of their arse or whatever. Like, but like I wonder, like, I kind of want to see them challenged with something that's a little like very prestigious almost in the gaming sphere, like if people who get to work on games like Zelda and Mario, when they talk about it, they are like flabbergasted at the idea of working on this franchise, because it's like the holy franchise of video games. There's an interview where Grant Kirkhope, who was a composer for Rare back in the N64 days, who did some amazing soundtracks on games like he collaborated for the GoldenEye soundtrack. He made the soundtrack for Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, and he worked on the soundtrack for Mario Rabbids, which is not even a Mario game, really. It's like a Mario spin-off game.
Yeah.
And he talks about it and he's like, I can't believe I'm making music for Mario! And he's like losing his mind. Right?
That's so cute.
So like, I feel like if you handed it over to Retro, they'd be super psyched to do it, and it'd be like this huge honor for them. And I know like, I have faith in them that they would do it justice, or they would either do it justice or they wouldn't touch it. You know, like they wouldn't do it anything that they don't feel would be true to the series. So, yeah, that's my answer. Very different answer than your guys'.
Yeah.
Our final question from YouTube comes from Thunder Tornado Dude, who asks, my question for the next video, who would win in a battle, Link or Tingle? And he put Tingle in all caps.
Link or Tingle?
Yes.
I don't know, man. You could shoot. You get
Where
Link.
is Link in the game? How far through the game is he?
Link is always like. No, the thing is, Link is kind of pushed into the situation. Tingle,
right. Okay. Well,
Tingle has pride. Like he wants to be the hero. Like that's all he lives for.
Yeah, he's gonna come at you with balloons.
Draws maps.
The thing is, like, sky.
Well, he had those attacks.
I was thinking, how much. That's true. I was thinking, like, how much time would Link have to prepare? Like, what items would he have? But the thing about it, Link, is that he always has exactly what items he needs at all times. And if he doesn't have what he needs, he finds it very quickly, and he exploits his opponent's weaknesses. Always.
There's a treasure chest somewhere.
So the battle might start. If he doesn't have what he needs, there's a treasure chest close by that has exactly what he needs to beat Tingle.
Yeah, well, what if they're both? If you put it at like this, what if they're both at their most powerful? You know?
Oh God, then Link would totally.
Yeah, like, if they're both at their OP, yeah. Tingle, I don't know. I think Link would.
I don't know. I think Tingle would give it his all. Poor guy. but like I don't really picture them fighting, because I think what would really happen is they'd be like step into whatever the arena, whatever situation. Tingle would see Link and he'd start fanboying out. He'd be like, "Oh my God, yeah, I wear green too, man. I want to be a fairy." And they'd start talking, and Link would probably just be weird and uncomfortable, but grit his teeth through it, just get through the conversation, and they probably wouldn't even end up fighting, and everyone in the crowd would get really disappointed and want their money back for watching. I'm just imagining it's like a gladiator setup. That's how I'm picturing this whole thing going down.
Yeah. So all right. So I think this might be our final question, but there's a really funny one from Hyrule Gamer, who I think also might be in Holly's Discord channel as well.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So he says, thanks GameOverJesse and King Bergerson. I was never that big of a fan of milkshakes, but when Jesse reached 50,000 subscribers, I tried one and loved it. I wanted to say thanks. Not really a question, but it's about milkshakes.
Well, because your milkshake...
Some would say milkshakes.
Your milkshake brings everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
So our final question, there's a few people that ask very similar things, but really quick, Penguin Rules 54 asked if we seen the new artwork for Link. A correction, the artwork that he listed isn't new. That was some of the first concept art they released for Breath of the Wild. So, sorry to get your hopes up. But Hyrule Gamer, I think Hyrule Gamer. Hold on, let me find who.
Which art is this? The one where Link has like a hoodie and the motorcycle? And
no, he's like.
Which artwork is this?
He's like holding the bow and arrow, and it's like artistic. So, a plumber to the past asks, do you think the next Zelda game, similar to Breath of the Wild, will be 100 years ago or post Ganon? But Teplay asks, similar question, what do you expect in the next Zelda game? Now, Daniel and I have already answered this before. So, Holly, what are your hopes for whatever the next big Zelda game is? Obviously, there's going to be new remakes coming out. There's going to be whatever the handheld Zelda team is working on, the people that worked on Link Between Worlds. But what do you expect from the follow-up for Breath of the Wild? Do you think it's going to be like Majora's Mask was to Ocarina of Time, where it just takes place a little while later? We've seen the same thing with Wind Waker to Phantom Hourglass, to where it takes place after it's just on a different console.
Right after, yeah.
Or it could be like what Twilight Princess was from Wind Waker, which Twilight Princess was literally the exact opposite. Instead of a cartoony art style with a kid, you had a realistic art style with an adult. So how do you think Breath of the Wild's going to go? Or the sequel, or whatever the next game is?
I mean, it would be cool to add on to Breath of the Wild in a whole new game. Say, like, I don't know, like 10 years, 20 years after, where everything's kind of been rebuilt.
Yeah.
You know? And so instead of, for example, right after, like, Link and Zelda are going to, you know, like the end of the game, basically. Like, alright, let's go to Zora's Domain and figure whatever's happening out. They kind of
not even show us what they do.
Yeah, but like, you know, people were excited for that in the DLC. They're like, oh my goodness, maybe we're gonna pick up right there. I would prefer, if they were gonna make another game off of Breath of the Wild, I would love it to be like 10, 20 years after that, where you kind of skip all that, because it's so very recent, and Hyrule's not gonna look any different.
So we would be playing as like, I just thought of something, but in your situation, would we be playing as like 30-year-old Zelda and Link?
Oh, I don't know.
Or, here's my thought. What if it did take place 20, 30 years later, but you played as their kid?
Whoa!
So like, you played as kid, like, it is 20, 30 years in the future, Link and Zelda are still there, but you play as Prince Link.
Yeah, like, they got married and fixed the kingdom.
That would be pretty epic.
I was gonna say, so he'd be like Link the Second, but really he'd be like Link the 22nd. But
yeah, like we were talking about earlier in one of the discussions that, like, Nintendo's already stated that Link in Ocarina of Time is like the great-great-great-grandfather of Link from Twilight Princess. So we know some of the Links, you know, end up getting it on with whoever they choose, whether it be Zelda,
getting it on,
Milan, or
Lon Ranch girl.
Yeah, he goes. Link. He goes after the farm girls and the princesses.
Yeah.
Or Princess Ruto.
No, don't discriminate. You know, like no classism here.
we get a fishy Link.
Yeah, and we've seen in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is like, it confirms that there is like interspecies stuff going on. So.
Yeah, or it could,
or at least intention.
Yeah, intentions. Yeah,
like with Mifa being totally in love with Link, I don't think it's ever acted upon. Yeah, but the intention is certainly there.
It's
she
like she wants to.
She like.
It's like forbidden. It's something that's like forbidden almost, you know? It's like that's what
I think it would be kind of frowned upon.
Oh yeah.
You know, just imagine King Deforan and he's like, yo, but he's a person.
Yeah.
He's a Hylian. We are fish people.
Blasphemy.
We lay eggs. It will like physiologically not work.
How is this even going to work? Have you thought about this? Oh my goodness. No, but I don't know. I would love them to kind of do something like that with Breath of the Wild. Have a second game, like a sequel, but it just not be right after, because I think that would kind of be boring to also be back in the same Hyrule.
Certainly.
That's just, you know, dead and everyone's like, why are we here? But that, or I don't know. I have no idea if they just started a whole new game. That'd be so crazy, and I don't even know what they would do. Like, I don't think I have the brain capacity to be like, oh, I could do this next. I have no idea. I am not a game developer.
I feel like if they were to do another Zelda game, like I think the next one, it's not going to be the same Link with Breath of the Wild. I don't think it's really going to be overly related to it, personally. Like, that's just like what I think will happen. But if they were to do a Breath of the Wild related game with Link again, and that Link again, what I would like to see is, I think, like, there's potential for a whole game that happened before the champions formed, because Link, at the start of the game, at the start of even the memories, he earned the Master Sword.
Yeah, true.
And we know that you don't just pick it up somewhere, and people don't you don't just get given the Master Sword. Like, you have to earn it through through some probably dungeon crawling things. And the thing that was missing from Breath of the Wild were the dungeons, like the really big dungeons. So I like to think that they weren't really there because Link already did them to get the Master Sword. Right. So I think it would be really cool to see almost like a prequel where, you know, there's access to dungeons, and maybe the dungeons become inaccessible after you beat them, and you know, like a rock slide happens and it covers that mountain. And then it adds sort of some interesting context to it. The only thing is that, like you said, it would be really boring to play in the same Hyrule again.
Yeah,
like,
it would either need to be before, where all the towns, everything is very populated and intact, or well after. Yeah, I would, you know, that was, I would not be down.
Even elsewhere, you know? Like, even if it were outside, like, outside of Hyrule and you could see Hyrule.
They could do they could do a flip. They could do like a Link Between Worlds, or you know, like a Dark World, like parallel.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Pew! Switch it upside down. They got upside down Triforce, and Hilda's just like, oh, I'm still here, or something.
Yeah. All right. So Holly.
Yes.
Since you are our guest, I'll let you choose and read off the final question. If you go to my Discord server, there are a few people who have tagged. I asked them to tag all of us. There was one person that tagged all of us, but just pick one of these questions, and it will be our final question.
Which thing is it in?
Social.
Social,
on
okay.
my Discord.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like this one. Okay. This is from Newt. And it's, where do you think Link was born and raised? Possibly in Hatsuno Village or Castle Town, or where?
Ooh.
I
also,
like that.
Breath of the Wild Link specifically.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Where do you think he was born?
I have my answer. I think he was raised in Hyrule Castle. And because it's said in one of the memories that Link's father was in the Royal Guard. Right? So, like, I think he was either raised in the castle or Castle Town.
Castle Town. Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Because his father was a knight, and then he was a knight. Following that sort of course.
And from a very young age, he exhibited traits, right? And everyone kind of picked up on that. So he would have had to be in a scenario where people were like, "Oh, dang! Look at that kid's sword skills.
Why is this kid so much better than all of us?"
Yeah.
No, it would have began like, who's that kid with the Deku sticks?
Yeah, that kid with the stick.
It's not like he's like chilling. Yeah, it's not like he's chilling in the Lost Woods or something, like banging stuff around, because no one would know he's there or find him or whatever. So he has to be very in a populated area.
So the sad part of this means his home was destroyed by the Guardians.
Maybe that's why he's so maybe that's why he's so silent, because remember when Mipha is just like, he used to be so happy and he used to smile, and then he got older, and then she's just like, you don't do that anymore. And then I think he like smiled at some point within one of the memories, and Mipha even like commented like, it's nice to see you smile again.
No, this means, because his dad's not in the game, he would have had to see his house like burned down,
and maybe his family, his mom and his dad.
Yeah, his dad.
Oh no! This game is getting even more sad.
Maybe that's why he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
He would go on play dates with Mipha. You know, his parents would be like, "Yeah, go hang out in Zora's Domain. Go see your bestie. Come back." Maybe he like came back one day.
Mipha's royalty. She wouldn't, and they were childhood friends. So like, royalty wouldn't just hang out with whatever some peasant kid from the village, right? Presumably.
Yeah.
You know, this kid is the son of one of the royal guards.
Kid.
You know, he's some peasant kid. I mean, that's what Link has been in the past.
That word always reminds me of the Disney Aladdin cartoon.
Oh yeah,
because they call him a peasant all the time.
Riff raff.
Oh yeah.
Street rat.
Yeah, but like in Twilight Princess, Link is like a farmhand or whatnot, and he's just some village kid in Wind Waker and whatnot. So yeah, but I think
P.S.
like
Killa in the chat.
So you
says,
find
Link
the
is
Royal
not a
Guard's
peasant.
uniform in the DLC. His father was in the Royal Guard, so maybe some conjecture here. But what if it was the same? His father's uniform.
Ashley in the chat, Patreon lady, says that he does build a new home in Hatino. So.
You totally cut out there for a second.
Oh, you did.
I said Ashley, whose question we answered earlier. The Patreon lady in the chat on YouTube says he builds his new house in Hatino.
Yeah, because you got no home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a house, man. It got raised by guardians.
He also builds the entirety of Terrytown, or at least is the reason for it being built.
He's the reason. Yeah,
but he brings on all the wood and everything else
because of that super. He's not like sexist or racist, but he kind of is. He's name-cist. You know, the guy who's like, I need to only have people in my town with this in their name. I was like, wow.
With sun. Their name has to end in sun. Someone asked me if I was from Tarrytown because my Discord name is Burger Sun, and I have sun at the end of my name. I was like, I hadn't even thought of that. I was like, what? No, I'm from Vancouver. And then they're like, but your name ends in sun. I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, are you from Tarrytown?
I'm so smart.
PS Killa, I guess PlayStation Killa is what his name is, but in the chat he says...
Or he, at the end of a letter, he wrote you, PS Killer.
So he asks, to go along with this, what if you found Link's room in Hyrule Castle and could read his diary?
That'd be so crazy.
Okay, that'd be really cool. I'd really like that.
Like if you could find Link's diary. That would
or if you could find his diary... Or if you could find his diary in one of the destroyed houses, like, in the town. That'd be even crazier, because then you'd have a, solidified where he lived.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
How weird would it be as an amnesiac with no memory? Or maybe 12 whole memories of your entire life, right? And then you find your own diary. Like,
and all of a sudden it's like
crazy.
The most crazy flashback ever.
You're just like everything. Yeah, like if seeing those locations triggers like a memory of like that moment. Then finding your home where you grew up and like reading your diary, like what kind of memories would that trigger? That'd be a hella cutscene to see.
That'd be some like Attack on Titan. Have you guys seen Attack on Titan?
I have not.
No, don't hate me.
Well, in the first, that would be some Attack on Titan stuff, because you basically, not to spoil it, but you see a lot of people die in like the first season. So
we have the fake gamer nerd girl explaining anime to us.
Yeah, sorry guys. You have in the first scene, you see your whole family just gone. Could you imagine if like you, as a cutscene, you find your diary and then you find your like desolated house, and then it's just like, oh, cutscene, and it's just like whole family dead. Oh, so sad. I would love it. I'd be so about that.
Yeah, the final thing about this, before we go, Newt, who asked the original question, says, what if Link's mother from the Hateno village and Link's father was from Castletown?
Aww.
Like the house that Link buys could formerly be his mother's because he wants to buy it and it is old.
True. Yeah, because no one lives there anymore, so that person is deceased.
Yeah.
True.
It's haunted.
Right.
It's what's funny is Ashley, the aforementioned Patreon lady, which she mentions in the chat that the quest log in the Japanese version of Breath of the Wild is written from Link's perspective. So it's almost like a journal, as opposed to in our release of the game that we got, where it's sort of written in like you need to go do this. You talk to this person and they said this, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
that's kind of like your diary.
That's kind of interesting, actually, that there is that. I kind of wish that we'd gotten that, because it's sort of another bit of immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been like I went here where I did this instead of you need to do this. All right, so I guess that brings us to the very end of our podcast. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us. Thank you, Holly. Wait, what about thank you, Daniel? Yeah, you're always here.
Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Jesse.
Go away, Daniel.
I was gone one time, Jesse. One time.
Go away, Daniel.
Okay, see ya.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
Holly. So there was one guest that we occasionally have on here named Ashley, a different Ashley, not Ashley, sorry, Alexis. Like we make like her name's Lexi. She goes by Lexi.
Okay.
But there was a bunch of people in the comments on one of the videos because she came on saying that her name's not Alexa because she doesn't like being called Alexa.
Oh, I see.
So everyone in the comments started calling her Alexa.
Oh no.
Yeah. So anyways, she's been on a couple of videos, and then there's obviously Daniel's been on a lot of videos. Someone commented on one of the videos that was like, I want to see Daniel and Lexi. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll
see them.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I'll just
Daniel and
leave.
Lexi.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I'll just leave. Nobody wants me.
Remember, I would stream Zelda on your channel, like when I was streaming both on mine and yours, and people would like go onto yours and be like,
Where's Jesse?
Where's Jesse?
I think the same thing when 5J would stream too on this channel, and
yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Although I think that comment happened like the one podcast that I was unable to make it. And then they commented saying, "Give us Daniel and Lexi," and I was like, "Oh, they miss me." That's so nice.
Yeah. So, Holly,
yes.
Thank you for
You're
joining
welcome.
on this very long podcast. We've been going for about
you.
3 hours, which is about an hour longer than usual.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we didn't take up too much of your time. And
That's cool.
Gibbs in the chat says, Jesse Senpai didn't notice me tonight. We did notice you, but we had a very long discussion between all of the questions, so didn't have time to get to it. So, for everyone that's watching right now, if they wanted to find more from you, where could they go? And why should we care about you?
Oh no, well I don't know why you should care about me, but besides I'm a cool kid. Holly T. Wolf is all my social medias, Holly Wolf TV here on YouTube. But yeah, if you guys, I don't know, I model and cosplay and do some gaming videos here and there. I'm partnered on Twitch, so technically I can't actually game anymore on YouTube. It's one of the rules set. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, if you're partnered on Twitch, you cannot game on competing platforms. So I could live stream on YouTube, but I cannot play video games on YouTube anymore. So sorry about that. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's in it's in your agreement you sign. But yeah, so I cosplay, like lots of Zelda cosplays, lots of other cosplays, a lot of Nintendo. I am a Nintendo like femme girl. So yeah. Also that stuff. If you want to follow me, I got an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Patreon. Yeah.
Adventurer Mike in the chat says, ooh, cosplay?
Ooh, cosplay. Yes, I do the cosplays. Yep.
With the most detailed Guardian armor
and butts.
I've ever seen.
Guys, there's butts. Sorry, there's butts.
And it's real.
I have
real
butts.
butts.
Yeah,
Real butts.
so I am.
Not like
I work.
Daniel's.
Yeah, not like Daniel's.
Not like my fake butt.
Fake booty exposed.
My
yeah,
fake butt is actually 2 couch cushions in my pants.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, listen. Gotta start
They're
somewhere.
Square cushions though, so it's really obvious.
Oh no. Yeah, but yeah, no. Warning. My stuff is a little bit more on the adult side of things. So.
Newt says, I enter her channel and see almost her butt.
Bare butt. Yeah. So just be aware. Okay, I am not
maybe
safe
if
for
you're
children.
like a youngin.
It is not a PG channel.
Yeah, if you are 12, please do not
Ashley
go there.
says nice butt.
Nice butt. See, so yeah, just be
It's real.
Yeah. All right, 17, almost adult. Okay, you pass. That's fine. But yeah, any younger than that, I feel uncomfortable. Okay, I feel triggered. So be careful.
So Twitter, and Twitch, Holly T Wolf.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
Twitter,
then YouTube.
Twitch, Holly Wolf TV. Yeah.
All right, Holly Wolf TV on YouTube. Holly T Wolf on Twitter and everything else.
Yes.
There will be links in the actual video, and every time that I have a guest come on my videos, you can find their Twitter handle in the corner of their video. So always give credit there for people to come on the channel. So once again, thank you, Holly, for coming on to probably the 10th video, I guess. I don't even know that you've been on from the channel.
Something like that. Yeah.
And as always, thank you, Daniel, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. The people that tuned in live. At one point, we had 50 people watching us talk about a book. So
it's an eventful day.
Yay!
Yes. Woo! All
right.
I just added Holly on Snapchat just now.
Oh, good time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
I know. People are like rated M for mature. Well, adult for YouTube, adult for swearing, adult for, you know, a little, yeah.
The videos on this channel are funded by supporters on Patreon like you. If you're a fan of this channel and would like to join on videos, receive shoutouts, watch videos early, have your questions answered, or have your topic discussed on our podcast, please consider supporting on Patreon for these and many other rewards for just $1. Shoutouts for this video includes Link Use the Triforce, Rusty Caulfield, Lovable Christy, Give Time 15, Shadow to Us, Robbie Morgan, and Lunarium. I want to thank all of you for everything you have done to help support this channel.